Good morning, good morning. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the show. Today, look, I'm excited to have you guys back. I got the new frames. They hit me off with the bifocal game. So I'm supposed to be able to use my glasses and read at the same time, where I don't have to take them off and read. Okay. Listen, I didn't do nothing for I didn't do a show. We've been gone for a little while. I want to thank you guys for your patience and the the patience in subscribing. We gaining subscribers. We kind of moving forward. It's a little slow. I don't know if I made an announcement before. So now we at 66 subscribers. I mean, that's fantastic. I love it. I'm excited about that. And I am grateful for the small things. So, like I said, I've been eating some breakfast. But here's the thing. I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen to your comments. I'm here to take your advice. I'm not going to say take your advice, but I'm here to listen to what you're saying. Talk. We can talk about it. All right? I can hear you. And if you have material that I can learn from, and it's good, and we all can use it, and I think that is helpful. I think we're running a little hot on the lights there. Hold tight. Don't go anywhere. Stay where you are. I'll be right back. Maybe one day we'll get to the point where we have a production team and we can actually have some, drop the lights, give me a little more light. All right, whatever. Listen, it's Black History Month. It's Black History Month. So I decided, I want to say one thing. I hate racism. I hate racism on every level. I hate what racism does. I hate that it makes people lose focus. You kind of lose your mindset once you're treated and oppressed a certain way on every front. Excuse me, we'll do it in reverse. No, there is no reverse. I don't like reverse racism. I don't like any of those fancy sayings. I don't think racism should exist on any level. And obviously, I'm a black man, so when I start talking my perspectives, they come from a black perspective, whether you believe that or not. Okay? Because I am black, and I've always been black, and that's just the way it is and the way it's going to be. Black. So I can only view it from a black man's eyes. You might not respect my perspective. That's good. That's good. I love coffee. If we can get to the point one day you guys will send me some coffee or something like that, that'd be great. Or a fancy cup. I'm begging. I hate racism. I hate racism on every level. I don't like racism. If you go, and I understand the numbers are where they are. There's people, one day you'll be in a crowd where there's nothing but black folks. One day you'll be in a crowd where there's nothing but white folks. And that's the way it is. As long as you are treated properly, I think you should be able to handle yourself. But once you are mistreated in any format that I just mentioned, then the way you think now becomes, it's hard to be rational and have good thinking because you're mistreated. A lot of times when people are mistreated, they can't think rationally. So let's get on with the show. Again, I'm back with the rant first. I should have had the rant last. Thank you guys for being here today. I want to give all due respect to to God. See, once I started saying that, that's not what I was going to say, but I want to give all due respect to God. Put God first in your life. I don't have my scripture or something ready at the ready, but I will say this: put God first in your life. Put him first in the way that you act, in the way you do things, the way you respond. Let's get rid of that cussing. But anyway, all right, so today it's Black History Month, and I thought with all of the jibber jabber that we were doing and talking about, bringing up controversial stuff, and I thought it was fantastic. I'm still stuck on Lee's perspective. Let's get that camera work. They told me that the camera should be opposite of the light. I don't know if that's true. I'm trying to learn all this stuff, but I thought that from as much as we can, I'm going to do like a several part series. We're going to do Black heroes in history, because it's only right that it's Black History Month and we should do that. 7 minutes in, maybe 6 minutes in, depending on what. All right, so this article is inspired by Uptown Magazine. And this is what I do. I kind of read some articles, clips, snippets from articles, and share them with y'all. So it's inspired, and then I add my own little twist bend to it. Okay, so this is from Uptown Magazine. I'm going to leave the link in the description. That way you can read it yourself. But if you read it too soon, you're going to get ahead of the 4-part series. We're going to do a 4-part series in honor of Black History Month, talking about Black history. So even if white or black, even if you've studied American history, you know that American history isn't, or America has not been kind to non-white folks. Okay, whatever. Non-white people, right? To minorities, people of color, Indians, Hispanics, on and on and on. America, you know your history. You know what you've been doing, okay? So when we talk about the 4th of July, you know, it's kind of hard to, once you kind of, like I said, once you're oppressed, it's hard for you to think rationally, right? So once you kind of slow down and you're like, the 4th of July, we weren't independent, but they were independent, but we weren't. But it's still a good opportunity to spend with your family and friends like we do on holidays. I still don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I got to tell you, I'm not really celebrating independence because it didn't qualify for me. But I'm not, you got to use your mind. You got to compartmentalize sometimes. And so now we know as the time goes on, because even including Thanksgiving and Christmas, like, you know, people start studying. I don't know the word, you know, and they're like, oh, that doesn't exactly mean that for those days. So yeah, and so now as time went on, time moves forward, black folks, us, we really have started acknowledging Juneteenth. I'm a little late on that, and if you don't know what Juneteenth is, leave it in the comments and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Juneteenth, we'll talk about it now. Juneteenth, or June 19th, the day in 1865 when the enslaved people of Galveston, Texas learned they were free 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation became official across the rest of the country. So let's think about that. That's pretty deep. You know that's deep. So could you imagine still being a slave for 2.5 years when everybody else was free? 2.5 years. 2.5 years is a long time. So what can we blame that on? I don't know, but it happened, right? Maybe the Pony Express. Now we have a different mail system. You can't. A lot of us have Amazon Prime. We can't live without. You order your package and you can't wait a week. My package won't come in a week. So could you imagine delivering the news, not letting anybody off the hook? I'm just talking, but it's still Juneteenth, June 19th. In my opinion, if you're black, you should really celebrate that, acknowledge it highly. And well, if you're not black, recognize it. Understand this is part of history. Like we study history, we cannot leave that out because that is history. Late to the game, telling us about that history, but it is history. So, and I think a lot of places have, or nationally, I know here is recognized. Not all jobs recognize it. I mean, I guess that's part of the way it goes. Because even there's some jobs, if you work at 7-Eleven, you probably working on July 4th, not making that the forefront of the conversation, but you still have to work. But I think in like city jobs, federal jobs, they recognize Juneteenth has really gained some respectable traction and honorable traction, and with it should be, and that's good. Shout out to them. I'm gonna need an applause track in here. Send me, applause track. So instead of celebrating July 4th, we're tired of celebrating. I'm reading from the notes from the article, Uptown Magazine. Leave the link in the description. We're tired of celebrating a nation that oftentimes doesn't acknowledge that our lives matter. That's very true. But in not acknowledging the 4th of July, we also fail to recognize the black people who displayed heroism and bravery during the American Revolution. So that's what we're going to do in this next few series. We are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about black heroes, honoring. Shout out to Carter G. Woodson for cranking up Black History Week, and Kent State University for moving it forward into the month, or celebrating the whole month, gaining traction and national recognition to what we're doing now, celebrating now, Black History Month. Thousands of black people joined the war effort on both sides of the conflict. Historians estimate that 5,000 to 8,000 black people served on the side of the Patriots, and more than 20,000 served the British Crown. That's actually news. 20,000 served the British Crown. Black patriots, black people. I'll read that again. Historians estimate that 5,000 to 8,000 black people served on the side of the Patriots, and more than 20,000 served the British Crown, according to History.com. When offered the choice, most enslaved people enlisted with the side they thought was most likely to grant them personal freedom. Enslaved and free blacks not only fought for the future of the colonies, independence, or maintaining British control, but also to end forced labor of slavery that fueled the country's economy. And I always say, now we're talking personal opinion, that slavery was abolished because of economic reasons. We'll leave that there. Although it would take decades for the northern states to begin abolishing slavery in 1804, and nearly a century from 1776 for the southern states, where I live now, to end the inhumane practice of forcing blacks into bondage. We can't negate the freedom-fueled efforts of black heroes during the American Revolution. These heroes the ones history remembers, that's very important. That's very important because that was a time where you had to have it on paper. Somebody had to write it on paper and then deliver the message by horse. So we have to keep those things and thoughts in mind, because now I could text you something and it may or may not be true, but 2 seconds later, maybe almost in the same second, you're going to receive the information, the gossip, the trash, or the truth very quickly. Text message, email. You see what that did? Guess what Johnny did? Hopefully it's good news. Guess what whatever, you know what I mean? My boy Tyree did. All right. We can't negate the freedom-fueled efforts of black heroes during the American Revolution. We can't negate the freedom-fueled efforts of black heroes during the American Revolution. We can't negate the efforts of black heroes during the American Revolution. Got that? Those heroes, the ones history remembers, I should repeat that 4 times, include the Revolutionary War's first martyr, a guerrilla, a poet. So guerrilla is written Guerrilla. And that's interesting because now I have to look that up and find out exactly what that means. A poet, a spy, a Minuteman, and an entire regiment. So that's deep. What we have is history. We have a great history that doesn't, in all cases, get taught, get spread around, and we don't know some of our history. So that's what my goal is today with this quick series, which deserves more time. And actually, we'll start with the first one. Let's go. I mean, we're 18 minutes in. You enjoy Black history, and you're here for that. Let's go. Crispus Attucks, patriot martyr. Crispus Attucks was a middle-aged man of African and indigenous descent who escaped slavery and earned a living as a sailor and a rope maker in Massachusetts. On March 5th, 1770, tensions fueled by distrust and competition between British and colonial sailors came to a head and an angry confrontation ensued. This event turned into the slaughter we know as the Boston Massacre. It's pretty funny because when I went to school back then, and maybe it was pretty much on me, only thing I remember is the Boston Massacre. So now we have Crispus Attucks, a Black American hero. So I'm going to assume that he was part Indian because it says African and indigenous descent. Attucks, Crispus Attucks, actively participated in the conflict and was one of the 5 colonists killed, reports history.com. 2 musket balls to the chest took Attucks out, and the witnesses said he was the first to fall during the Boston Massacre. As a result, Attucks became the first martyr to die for American independence from British rule and a symbol of Black American patriotism and sacrifice. So let's remember Crispus Attucks. And actually, that's just like the tip of the iceberg. So Crispus Attucks is the first Black martyr, I guess, recognized in history, reported in history. I'm sure, no disrespect to Crispus, just an additional honor and remembrance of all the other Black heroes that weren't reported, talked about, taught about. And so Yeah, so guys, I'm going to encourage you take a look at some other articles. I think I mentioned in the last video. But you can just type these things in. I encourage you, type them in. Look up your history. Great black heroes, great African American heroes. Do something. Teach your kids. Teach yourself. Learn something. Carter G. Woodson. Let's carry on what he's done, and we can use February as the launching pad to learning Black history on our own and studying it all the time. And I would encourage you to teach your kids early, right? Don't wait for the system to grab them and then you have to re-encourage them and talk to them and all these other things before their mind. Catch them at 5 years old. I would suggest 5. 5 years old is a great age to start teaching them. And some kids are more mature than others. This is a different day and time. My granddaughter she's not even 5 yet. And I mean, you're talking about challenging you with wisdom. It's like I'm dealing with an 8-year-old sometimes. And they remember stuff. So with that being said, teach them, talk to them, show them. Black or white, right? Because we all deserve to be part and recognized in American history. Once we, like Idris said, if you missed that video, go back, take a look. Instead of studying the differences, we can start studying the similarities. Kind of bring us all together, both ends, both sides. And I'm not saying the past is the past, because the past is the past, but I did like what I said. I did get that from somebody. The windshield is like this. It's massive. Looking forward. I mean, even the windows on the side, right? They're wide. The rear view mirror, when you're driving and moving forward, the rear view is like this. It's tiny, it's small. So you gotta look back. You have to look back. But you don't need to. So learn your history. Get it right, get yourself together. God is always for us. Faith is an action. You can't just think about it. You can't just dream about it. You got to move towards it. You got to go get that thing. You have to. Because if I'm hungry and it's dinner time, I'm thinking about that food. I can't just sit here. I can't just sit here and think about it. Right? I got to get down there and cook it. And then my dream, my thoughts of eating will come true. All right, y'all. You know what we say? What do we say? Get out there, live, love, and enjoy life before it's over, because it will in one day. And with that being said, we are out of here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell somebody about this. Let's learn our history. Let's learn our history. Black or white. Learn